all different parts of Yarra, all different nationalities, all different backgrounds, and I have I've never been, well, not for a long time, at a political event that's so mixed. It's not just the usual suspects, and I think that's a credit to the work that the party has done in this area over the course of a long time. I think what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks is we're going to see the biggest socialist campaign in Australia really since the 1940s, and that's an absolutely fantastic thing, and I really encourage you all to be involved in making history. This is really making history, because this isn't just talk shop stuff. This is really going to challenge the powers that be. There's 4 policies that we're running on. Number 1, it's on transport. Every day, if you live in Yarra, even if you don't live in Yarra, Hoddle Street, from north to south, is like a gridlock. It's like a car park. Vic Roads this week said that there's been much fewer deaths on Hoddle Street than for many, many years. I was interviewed about that. It'll go in Monday's Yarra Leader, and I said the reason that there's fewer deaths is Hoddle Street used to be a road, and now it's a virtual car park, and the cars are going 3 or 4 k's an hour. It's no wonder nobody's getting killed, because people are living an hour each morning and an hour each night going to and fro work. So one of the key issues that we're going to be involved in and we're campaigning on is for the public transport system to be truly public. How can you have a public transport system when it's not actually public, but it's owned by these gangsters, Connex in the past and Metro today? So we want to bring the public... Yeah, that's true. We want to bring the public transport system back into community control, managed and run by the community, by the workers in that industry, and by the government of the day. And then that way, we can then expand it. So everybody has the right to public transport. We can make it better integrated. We can make it free. Because that's the way you get people out of cars and into public transport, by that type of expansion. The second thing we're going to be running on is planning. We are fed up of a developer's paradise. We're not of the view that, you know, Australia's full up, development's a bad thing. I work in the construction industry. Development and construction creates a lot of jobs. But what we've got here is unbalanced development, where the state government and the big business mates and the construction companies just give a free rein to anyone who wants to put anything short of a nuclear power dome. High rise, overshadowing people. They don't care of the traffic implications, they don't care of the parking implications, and they don't care about any social needs to meet the needs of those new infrastructure to meet the needs of those tenants. So what you have is middle class ghettos. They're creating fully 100% residential units with no childcare, with no kindergarten, with no extra infrastructure whatsoever, and we see what we saw in the Docklands in the 90s, where they go feral with these developments, and then 10 years later everyone's scratching their head going, well, all we've got is a 7-Eleven. Literally that's what you had in the Docklands. No supermarket, no childcare, no kindergarten, no library, no neighbourhood house. So we're saying yes to planning, but real planning. Planning where the residents and the community have just as much say over it as the powers that be at the present moment in time. The third issue that we're running on is the question of the environment. Climate change in the environment is real, and the only way to deal with that is the first thing that we need to do is, in the first term of the next government, is the closure of Hazelwood and the move towards energy based on wind and solar. And the manufacturing for that to be based in the valley, so those people who are displaced from Hazelwood get alternative jobs, and the bringing into the public ownership of the power industry. There is no second chance with the environment. Brumby is saying, and Labour is saying, a 5% reduction. We're very disappointed in the Greens, who are saying 15 to 20%. What we believe the same as YCAN. We believe the same as the zero emissions people, that we've got to be fighting for zero emissions by 2020, no compromise whatsoever. And that's a key issue for us in this state election campaign. The final issue that we're running on is obviously public housing, because Richard Wynne is very proud of the fact that he spent loads more money than previous Labour ministers on housing. There's an element of truth in that. But where's that money going to? It's going to Beckton, $40 million, who hived off parts of Collingwood as Carlton Estate, created yuppie apartments, put a wall rather, like the Berlin Wall, between private and public. Initially that wall went through the only playground in the Carlton Estate. It took a rally by the Carlton residents to stop that. That's where the money's going to. It's going to dodgy contractors to do the refurbishments, to do the maintenance. That's what's happening. So when your lifts get broken down, when you've got a cockroach problem, when you've got a rat infestation, when you want somebody to come and fix your plumbing, you get the crappiest contractors that Victoria has to offer, because that's the one that Dick Wynne's picking. And Dick Wynne is